Welcome to Story Ideas on the Fly, where we pick a random prompt from a hat and try to develop it into a story idea. Let's see what we've got. Oh, gross. You are what you eat. That's why people eat magical animals.
Okay.
All right. So
This sounds like a really interesting magic system. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think you're temporarily what you eat, because otherwise people would become magical creatures and then they would be magical creatures.
No, I don't think it's like a full transformation.
Okay, it's
So,
a partial transformation or a
It's
temporary...
not like you become... It's not like I eat an apple, I'm suddenly an apple.
But you gain the abilities of...
But you gain the abilities. So
you eat an apple, you become sweeter.
Right, apples
I
don't know what have any
literally
abilities.
Sweeter, but...
No,
So
apples
you eat
don't
an
have any
apple,
abilities.
You're more crunchy.
okay, it's
But so if you kill the dragon and then ate it, you might be able to gain some of its strength, flight, and fire breathing abilities.
okay.
Now, I think in order to make it permanent, though, you'd have to eat a lot of the same type of thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So you are what you eat. That's why people eat magical animals. So it doesn't say they necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean they're becoming superheroes off of them. They're eating the magical animals could just give them more wisdom, give them more empathy, give them...
That's feed of salmon.
Or give them, like if you eat a unicorn, you gain, well, maybe not gain purity, but you gain the ability to heal or to purify water.
It could be a magical ability, really, or it could just be a character trait.
I think it's better if it's some kind of
magic.
magical ability.
Okay.
It's a
But it
magical
doesn't
ability.
necessarily-
If it changes your personality, guess where 90% of everything ends up getting its nutrients from?
What?
Eventually rocks. Everything would be dumb as rocks.
Okay, I wasn't taking it that literally. I was going to go more symbolic.
Okay, then you would have the personality that is symbolized by a rock.
No. I would have whatever the symbolism of chocolate is. Let's get real.
No, okay, where does chocolate get it from? Rocks.
Dirt.
Chocolate is rocks.
No, chocolate is dirt.
It's more, water.
Yeah.
All right, then we're water.
No.
We all have the personality of water.
Okay.
I don't think it's a mind-affecting thing.
Right.
I think
let's
You
make
do
this
not want to go with a
more-
mind-affecting thing. Because otherwise everything has the personality of a rock or
It
water.
doesn't.
Not necessarily.
We can the
But I get what you're saying.
Okay, so
No, I mean, we're mostly focusing on the magical creatures.
right. So so you gain their magic. You eat the animal. You gain their magic. Do we want it to be temporary, permanent? How permanent?
I think a lot of it is frequency and amount.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have lived your...
And maybe quality too.
Yes. So if you live in a magic forest that has, let's say, a bunch of phoenixes in it, and you survived your whole life off just those, I think yes, that would be a permanent part of you. Even if you went for a whole year without eating another one, you've eaten so many of them throughout your life that you would have the permanent fire magic.
Yeah.
But I think if you just I defeated yesterday and I ate some of it, you get some of its magic for a day or two, and so this would lead to some interesting things because hunts would compound off each other.
Well, and I think a lot of your people eating the most magical creatures wouldn't necessarily be your adventurers or hunters. I think it would be wealthy lords and ladies and stuff who would, start buying the meat so that they could gain abilities.
Yeah.
And you might even start getting magical creature farms.
That was actually what I was going to ask. Can you actually farm these things?
That depends on the
may
creature.
Reduce the magic of the creature and make it not
This is a magic system based off of what you eat, so there's a decent chance that the creatures need to eat specific things in order to get their magic properly.
I think it might be theoretically possible, but I don't... It would be such an advanced technique for these magical creatures to properly farm them that it's probably been attempted a few times, but successfully done, probably not.
I think it's done, but it's a lower quality.
I think
So if
that-
you're eating farmed unicorn meat, it doesn't have the same effects.
well, and
It's
I think
just-
this is a
meh.
case where Peter stepping in might actually be a good thing, because
Maybe.
we're going to eat these animals to try to steal their abilities. I'm not for I'm not a vegetarian, but
Just saying there could be some ethical issues here. Yes.
here.
How's that any different from from eating an animal for medicinal properties?
Depends. Well, it depends in part on how intelligent, how how feeling, how sentient, how there are ethics questions here, especially if the
Question.
animals are.
Does
You eat
jerky
chicken?
work?
You eat a chicken?
That
Chickens
is a
are
good
stupid.
question. Would
No,
jerky
no,
work?
this is an important question. So I kill a dragon, I turn some of its meat into jerky. Does that have the same effects?
I don't know if it has all the effects, but it might.
Because I would imagine a lot of adventurers probably would. You'd probably have.
Would that mean that a healing potion is just unicorn blood?
Okay, now here's
something
another
like
question too.
Yeah.
Are there rules for hunting these things, and are there like dragons
regulations.
No, but I'm saying, are there rules for hunting them? But also, are some of these things that need to be killed? So
Mhm.
eating them is a fine thing because
Yeah.
they're
You're saying
terrorizing.
if the dragon is burning down a village, then it's a
yeah,
lot
you
more
save the
ethical.
kids and you eat the dragon.
It's a lot more ethical to eat
Okay.
dragons who are pillaging and plundering
Okay,
than it is
so
to.
let's-
Well, if there's any regulations on this, I think partially depends on where do magical beasts come from. Because if magical beasts are in and of themselves species, well, a lot of them have probably been hunted to extinction, which would mean that they probably would end up developing some regulations going, no, stop hunting this specific type of beast, we've nearly wiped them all out. But if it's something where instead these magical beasts inherently aren't actually any different from a regular creature, but like how humans can gain magic from eating them, they ate very specific things that allowed them to gain magic, then I don't think there would be any need for regulation, because what makes us phoenix? It's an eagle that ate enough fire beetles or something.
Actually, I really like that route because it fits
Yeah.
more consistency with the whole world. So yeah, magical
Okay.
creatures would be
And-
creatures that ate other things that had magical
Right,
properties.
so they eat things that give them magical properties, and then we,
What kind of magical plants are there?
There
I gotta
could be.
figure it out. And I think
Well, one thing
Well,
I
and
saw
you
it
could
had a
have-
now
flower
here's
that
an
had
interesting
manipulation
thing
over
though
fire,
that would happen
a
that I don't
cactus
think
that
any
had
of you have
ice.
considered yet.
Okay.
So if you have someone let's say there's a dragon that's been terrorizing a village and people want to kill it. How would they do it? Well,
Jerky.
Mhm.
Jerky.
Here's the thing. Jerky's less effective. And so, yes, a lot of the hunters who go out and hunt magical creatures would do things like have jerky from previous kills on them. But a lot of what would happen would be chains of hunts, where you'd hunt one creature to get
The
take
ability
its
to
magic
hunt the
and then
next.
use that. You get a temporary power boost every time you kill a
Mhm.
magical creature. So you'd actually have chains of hunts where it's like, okay, let's fight something weaker, fight something slightly stronger until we build up.
Okay.
Which would then, how exhausting would that be? Like, what kind of
That
mental?
would be extremely exhausting.
But that would be what would be necessary to fight some of the more powerful monsters out
Because
there.
fighting
Good
an
point.
actual dragon is very difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at plot.
Okay.
What's
So-
our plot in this? Who's our hero? Who's our villain?
Your
What's a villain actor?
hero could be not a conservationalist, but someone who kind of monitors the creatures in the area to try to make sure, hey, these aren't getting too, these aren't overpopulating. These are, we're not overhunting this kind of creature. Okay, you slew a dragon and now everybody's eating its meat, and now we're getting more fights breaking out in human populations because eating dragon meat makes you aggressive. So, we may need to work on that.
Well, for the villain, I think we should go with one of two routes. I think we should either A, make him some extremely powerful creature like a dragon, or B, make him a lord in a kingdom where something like a dragon was recently slain, and so that there weren't a bunch of basically drug wars over the dragon meat. He ended up taking all of it and just kind of hiding the fact that he was kind of selling it in the black market for some
Yeah,
extra
that's
stuff.
another thing.
Or
Like
he
dragon meat would
irrelevant
be
now he's becoming a part
yeah,
dragon.
because that would actually be an interesting thing. Because drug wars, I need to write that
You
down.
could do something here where you've got your villain is, you are what you eat, and he is trying to become the best, the strongest, the whatever. But in doing so, watch his descent into insanity.
Mhm.
Because he becomes, the more and more he starts eating this,
Yeah.
the less human he becomes, the more
Mhm.
beast-like he becomes.
Okay,
Those
Well,
are fun
first
characters
few
to have.
scenes, first
Well,
few
and-
chapters of the story, I think I figured it out. The villain hires the hero, as well as another group of hunters, to slay a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to go. And you could actually do a lot of world building just in this, because they would have to do multiple hunts, figure out, track things down, and so you can do a whole lot of world building in just a single hunt, because it's not just a single hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
They hunt the dragon, they take it down, it's no longer terrorizing the village. Villain comes in, and they probably would take some of the meat as part of their payment, but he takes like everything else.
Okay.
And
For the payment, you get a leg, kind of
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's rich and powerful. He then has a feast for just himself with it, and then turns the rest into jerky to store for later, and eats nothing
Continue.
but it for basically the rest of the story, as he grows more powerful.
Mhm. And maybe eat some other monsters too.
Yeah,
Yeah, to get more powers.
but
Mhm.
runs himself on purely magical creatures for the duration of the story. That's kind of how I imagine it starting. I don't know how it ends.
Sounds
Okay.
interesting.
So,
Well, I think it does make sense to have it so that the hero is kind of a hunter slash. Let's make sure that the meat of magical monsters isn't just rampantly running around everywhere, because
Yeah, I like
that
the
can
idea
be
of treating
extremely
magical monster
dangerous.
meat like almost like it's like
A
drug
drug?
wars. Yeah, like because people would hunt after it like nothing. It's like, oh, I have a pack of dragon jerky here. That thing's more valuable than cocaine.
Oh dear.
You consider it instead of the dragon?
I think we're in a fantasy world. I don't think cooking exists.
Yeah, no.
Good.
This is the fantasy world's equivalent of cocaine.
Okay.
There you
What
go.
I'm saying.
Yes.
So, and there would be huge markets for it, and
Mhm.
especially since if these creatures appear just from normal animals eating enough magical stuff, it's not like you can just hunt things to extinction in that way. And so you
Oh,
would
yeah.
have entire criminal gangs and stuff that focus on catching these things, selling them, eating them themselves. This would be an entire business, man. I'm
Okay,
Well,
enjoying
you
the
should
world
have
building.
places that trade them legally too. I still
Yeah.
think
Yes.
you would get farms on.
Oh yeah,
from
you
time to time
probably
where
have
people
something
It'd be
where
really hard
you
to find
have
them.
places that would specifically go, hey, these creatures can be dangerous. Any meat you bring to us, we can turn it into bite-sized pieces that then you can use in order to go out and fight any of these
Yeah,
things that
yeah.
are actually
I
dangerous.
think one thing they would
Yeah,
want to do.
preservation of meat would be a big business, but farming them would be nearly impossible because you can't just take two dragons, have them made, and have a baby dragon.
No, but
Okay.
Griffin, you might be able to.
Yep.
Okay,
It
something.
won't be a griffin.
One thing that I
Okay.
think we need to look at here. I think I might have forgotten what I was going to say.
Raise it on magical dirt.
Okay.
How do you know what dirt's magical and what's not?
I'm sure it's there somewhere.
Okay. Back to the plot. So we've got some good villains, some
Mhm.
very strong villains in this. What is our hero doing here? And I think there would be
Well, I
some
think our
animals that magical animals that would be like, okay, everyone can eat these magical animals because.
There's a species of magical snail, and everyone people
but
just go,
I think
yeah, sure, go ahead, eat those magical snails. Make it because the main thing they give you is that they just make it so that you don't have headaches anymore.
No,
yeah, I think
I
though
think
that there would be things like there would be some animals, perhaps dragons or hydras or things that would be like, no, you are not allowed to eat these because they yes may give you strength, but they also give you rage or things like this. And so there would be some, and that's where the black market would
I
come
don't think
in.
it's as much you can't eat these. They'll give you strength, but they'll also give you rage. I think it's more these things are very rare, so those that eat them will gain so much. They're rare and powerful, so those who eat them will gain so much more power relative to other people. That's just way too dangerous.
I
Well,
just
you
think
want
it
to-
makes sense though for what you eat to affect your emotions or temperament.
and I think that you're going to have
Slightly,
have
but-
probably for some of these things that do give you more power, because you get somebody using so I think some of these things that they kind of regulate with, okay, these are for adventurers only,
Mm-hmm.
and so
This
there's going to
seems
be
like
a
a
black
world where they
market.
wouldn't call the profession adventurers. They'd probably call them hunters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because in this world, their job is not to go on
Exactly.
adventures, it's to hunt
Right.
monsters for meat.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
They're monster
so who
hunters.
is our hero?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You could have a hunter.
Yes, he's a hunter.
It's definitely
Dan's
some kind of
established that.
hunter.
It would
I
make
kind of
sense.
like Heather's idea of him also being a bit of a regulator.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of him being a hunter, but also a magical researcher, or at least having that be one of the characters.
Oh, that
Yeah.
could be fun.
Yes.
He could be one of the people trying to create a farming business, going, "Oh, I want to figure out what these things
Yeah.
actually eat, so that we can take some of those, and then figure out what those things
Yeah.
eat, so we can actually create our own ecosystem."
Yeah, I figured out that the things that causes dragons to be able to grow so powerful is that if you get this creature to eat enough of these things, then that can
I have like
turn into a
5
dragon.
steps of the chain.
But those things need to eat these in order to turn into those.
And it all comes from the dirt, right?
Eventually, but
Probably
Where's
crystals.
the magical dirt? Yeah. Okay.
All
I
right.
imagine magic
So
crystals
what is so
That makes
our
sense.
hero?
that some of the plants eat.
So our hero is going to have to, if he may actually eventually figure out that it's not necessary to eat the animals, that you can eat what they're eating if you get down to some crystal or some.
Yeah.
something
Eat the
that they're
magical
eating.
plants or
But-
swallow the crystals.
Well, I don't
But-
think.
But
I
the
think that-
magical plant
if-
alone won't do it. But maybe the combinations or the there's some crystal.
Well, I don't think humans can eat
something-
crystals.
Yes. Well,
also, I
if
feel
you
like that'd be a
powdered
waste
them,
because the crystals are probably eat the kind of thing like what are those things called? You know those things where you put a magical crystal into a sword and then it works indefinitely, but then you put it into a gun and now it has a limit?
Oh, one of those things.
I
Yeah.
feel like if you eat the crystal, it's like that.
yeah, but if you eat
Okay.
the animal, it's like that too. Okay.
No, because the crystal's still there.
Okay. So
This could be an
if the
interesting,
animal eats
magic-
it, then it's gone anyway.
magic
No,
system
the
to
animal
develop.
didn't eat it. The plant got the energy from it, and then the plant was
Okay.
eaten.
I have
Okay.
some
Fair
ideas
enough.
how the world
So okay, guys, we need to wrap this up. So
Okay.
what is our hero? What's his goal? What's the big
Mm-hmm.
what are we kind of headed to with this? Obviously, he's got to take down these groups that are the black market. He's got to take down
Take down your
the
big,
big
bad,
bad,
who hired him in the beginning.
right. We could or could not find an alternate way to get the magics.
Yeah.
Where's the love story?
You could have a girl who knows a lot about magic. You could have her be some kind of regulator where she keeps up with, okay, this is how we keep these populations from
Yeah,
From
could
her
be, she
harming
could be a hunter.
society.
So
she could be a hunter, or she could be not a politician like but more of one of the people who actually gets things done, not the one who stands in front of the crowd, but the one who gets things done, where she's behind the scenes figuring out all
Honestly,
the
I think it
magic.
just sounds like it would be a lot of fun to just have it so that she's a hunter who ended up going on enough hunts and eating enough magical animals that she now has some kind of permanent ability.
okay,
Oh, that could be cute.
sounds great.
Yeah, she has permanent strength now.
Uh-huh.
Strength of 20 guys.
That would actually
But
be
she's a cute little girl.
Yeah, she
Oh,
should
no,
be
no.
5'1".
Hey, we like
I
what, 5'1"
was like,
people?
yeah.
Yeah, we like 5'1" people.
I was
That's
actually
what I do.
imagining 4'9", just like super short.
Oh,
and
that sounds
small,
adorable.
but also like super strong.
Okay,
That would be
all right. So
hilarious.
we have
I am eating like
Yeah.
20 minotaurs throughout my life, so...
I grew up in a village that had minotaurs living nearby.
Okay,
All right, so who
we have
could write this?
a hero, we have a villain, we have a basic idea of a plot, we've got some setting. So we got to
Yeah.
start here.
Oh, we've got.
This is a story I'd write.
Yeah, this is definitely you.
I can see anyone. Oh, and you're good at world building and stuff.
Oh
You could
yeah,
have
that's
so
smart.
much fun with
You would
this.
have so much fun designing all the animals.
Well, the main question is, what animals would cause what? You have to figure out the exact trait.
But how would you write this?
Yes, anyway,
Let us know in the
while
comments
he
what you would put in this
Right,
story.
while he contemplates it, you put comments.
What should cause dragons to exist? Do you think it should be a Komodo dragon, a bearded dragon, a bird, or what?
All right, we'll see you next time.
I think. Oh,